This is the day that the Lord has made. We are rejoicing and we're glad in it. It's Millionaire Monday. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramonepreston show. Today is Monday, Millionaire Monday, July 17th, 2023. If you are joining me live, please do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and I want you to tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know your boy Ramonepreston, my squad. We're live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Monday, July the 17th. It's Millionaire Monday here for us. And I want to talk to you about the basics of selling, So please hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody, let them know that your boy Ramonepreston is live on the Ramonepreston show. And we're going to be talking about the basics of selling. So all of you that are entrepreneurs, small business owners, or maybe you anticipate to become a small business owner, to start a business, get your money right, and really create something special for you and your family. Sales and the basics of selling is critical to anything that you plan on doing as an entrepreneur or in business. It's just no way around it, all right? You gotta be mindful and you have to become more skilled in this thing called selling so that you can make money, generate revenue, and actually be a successful entrepreneur and have a successful long-term sustainable business. So if you're watching live, I would love to know where you're watching me from. Can you put in the comments what city you're representing today? Just put it in the comments. Let me know what city you represent, who you represent today. I would love to know. Let me know who you're representing today. Put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from. I would love to know what city you are watching the Ramonepreston show from. I want to say thank you for joining the Ramonepreston show. Thank you for watching our show. Every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, I do my best to show up here live and to share information with you. I do my best to give you things that are practical, that you can use for your business, for your finances, for your systems and your processes. Everything that I share on this show is a reflection of who I am and what I do. So my wife and I, we started our entrepreneurial journey 20 years ago, and we didn't have a lot of information. We didn't have a lot of resources. We didn't have a lot of working capital. We had very little, and we had to take the little we had and we had to make it work. And thankfully, because I'm a very avid reader and I'm a studier, I'm a student of life, and that's one of the strengths that I feel like I have as a person, I started self-educating and started developing creative ways to market our business, to sell ourselves, and to sell our products and services. And my wife, she has a management background. My wife really has a great personality for sales. And we took all of our strengths and core competencies and we brought them together. And 20 years later, we still here. We still building. We're still growing. We're still learning. But at least we have some visible, substantial success to show that we gotta know something. It's just no way possible that you could be an entrepreneur full-time for 2 decades without having to go back into the workforce, without having to go back and fill applications out to work a job. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just proving a point. It ain't no way on God's green earth that you could be a full-time entrepreneur for 2 decades and still be growing and still be generating revenue and still building a business. It's just impossible for you to do something for 2 decades consistently and you're still doing it and you're doing better if you don't know something. So people can talk all they want to talk. People can say all they want to say. And I'm not trying to peacock and flex, and maybe I am, but I'm really here to prove a point in this moment that what I share with you about sales, what I share with you about marketing, what I share with you about financial literacy and entrepreneurship and business ownership, I know this stuff works because it works for me. The fact that we've built a successful organizational enterprise and we have been doing this for 2 decades now, and we're continuing to grow. Like every year for the last 20 years, my wife and I have done better. Every year, not one year in the last 20 years, we've done worse than the last year or the year before. We've never had that experience because we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always willing to put what we learn and what we grow in to practice. And that's what you need to do. So all y'all that's watching me today, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, if you plan on building a successful small business and making money and hiring people and being a blessing to your church and your family and the community, guess what? You got to learn about the basics of selling. It's just no way around it. You have to learn about the basics of selling. Now, I'm going to give you a definition of what sales is, and then I'm going to share a few things with you to help you understand how sales should be working for you if you are a solopreneur, you're a single entrepreneur, you're a small business owner. I want you to understand what we define selling as. What is selling? What are sales? And then we want to talk a little bit about how those sales should work. How does it work for you today? What are some things that you can do today to make a sale? What are some things that you can do today to implement and execute the basics of selling, okay? How can you take the concept of sales and how can you execute the concepts of sales through your selling? That's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today, all right? Now, before I get into that, here's something very important that I want to share with you, all right? Sales, no matter if you like sales or not, sales is by far the most important component, element, aspect, whatever word you want to use. Sales is by far the most important thing to your business, period. I mean, let's just be honest. If you have a business and the register of your business is not cha-chinging, cha-ching, cha-chinging, cha-chinging, you know, if it's not cha-chinging, you ain't got no business. It's just simple as that. So if you got a product and a service you want to sell, you want to provide, you got prices, you got a website, you got a landing page, you got a storefront, you got a physical location, you got a virtual location, you coach people, you educate people, you consult, whatever it is that you do, it's all tied to some product that you sell or some service that you provide. If you take products and services, okay? If you take products and services and you package those products and services with this thing called a business, I don't care if it's a holding company, I don't care if it's a LLC, I wouldn't care if it's a sole proprietorship, I don't care if it's a fictitious name, none of that matters. If you have a product or products and you have services and you wrap those products and services into a business, or if you don't wrap them into a business, if you just got a side hustle, you work a job, but you still sell products and services like network marketing, or if you got a real estate license, or you're an insurance agent, or you do some type of work on the side, you know, on your days off. Either way, you have some products that you're selling or some services that you're providing, all right? Whether it's wrapped in a business like a LLC or not, you're still doing business. what is the most important thing to this? Like, it doesn't matter what nobody thinks. The most important thing to this is selling. Of course, you can say marketing because you got to get attention for it. But even if you're marketing, but you're not selling, it still doesn't matter. A business that just markets and never sells is not a business. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I want you to just wrap your mind around like one of the most fundamental understandings you got to have when it comes to your business, when it comes to your entrepreneurship, when it comes to you side hustling, when it comes to you wanting to make more money and to do more things. You got to understand the basics of selling, okay? So everything revolves around selling. I don't care what products you have, what services you provide, how you build a business, how you structure it, how you set it up. You got a holding company. You know, I teach that. You got subsidiaries. I teach that. None of that matters if at some point you don't have products and services that are selling. You got to understand the basics of selling, okay? So let me give you my definition for what sales is. Like, what are sales? And by the way, if you are not planning on joining me this upcoming Saturday, July 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be here in my headquarters live. We're going to be in our training room. We're also going to have a virtual access, so you could join me in person or virtually. But this Saturday, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on sales and marketing. And I want to show you, number one, how to put the right marketing strategy together so that you can get attention. You know what I mean? It's like if you got a bat in your hand and you're at the home plate, somebody needs to throw a ball at you so you can swing, so you can have an at bat. Otherwise, you just standing at home plate with a bat. But somebody's got to throw a ball at you so that you can swing and take a shot at it. That's what your marketing is going to do, okay? Now, depending on how good you are in your marketing, depending on how much attention you get in your marketing, that's going to have a lot to do with how many shots you get to hit the ball. But your sales, your ability to sell, your ability to take someone who is interested in what you're doing or in what you have, and close them or make them a customer or a client who paid for a product or service, that's going to have a lot to do with your skill of selling. So that when you do swing, you can hit the ball and knock it out the park. So this Saturday, I'm going to be talking about a lot of this stuff that so many entrepreneurs don't want to talk about today. Okay, most entrepreneurs today that I talk with, they don't want to talk about marketing and sales. That's why I was telling my team this morning in our team meeting, you know, that if they notice, which they have, this particular workshop that we've been promoting for the last couple of weeks, it's one of the least popular workshops. It's not popular to the general public that we market to. It's not even popular to people who are in our mentorship program, customers and clients and mentees that we work with. They're not jumping off the roof to learn more about marketing and sales, because a lot of times in the mind of an entrepreneur, they think what's most important is getting a loan, getting their credit score up, finding a source of funding. But none of that is going to guarantee a sale for your products and services. And I don't understand why entrepreneurs don't get that. I don't understand. I know entrepreneurs who they break their back to try to get credit cards, to try to get business loans, to try to find institutions that will fund their business endeavors when they've never figured out the basics of selling. So even if you do get funding, even if you do get a line of credit, even if you do get credit cards or someone, gives you working capital so that you can get inventory or so that you can get your business up and running. Well, at some point, you cannot depend on that long term to grow and sustain your business. At some point, you got to actually have a product and a service that you can take to the marketplace, market, get attention for, bring value to people about, and then sell. You got to figure that part out. There's no way around selling in business. Here's the truth. If you are an employee working for a company, there's an element of sales that comes with that, because you selling yourself, you selling your time, you selling your skill set, you selling your competencies, you're selling your ability to do whatever the job is, especially if you work on a job and you want a promotion, you want to get a raise, you want to move into another position, you want to figure out how to get into a different department. That's still tied into selling. So everything on this planet is about sales. All right. So let's answer this question. What are, and I'm using it in the plural, okay? What are sales? What are sales? And I'm talking about this today, of course, leading up to our workshop Saturday, but I'm talking about this today, assuming that you don't know enough about sales. And maybe you're not at a place in your life where you're willing to admit that, but I had to admit it. Like, again, I told you earlier, me and my wife, we've been in full-time entrepreneurship for 20 years. We started 20 years ago. And even though we did have some skill sets, okay, even though we knew a little bit about sales and a little bit about marketing, but we didn't know enough to really build a successful business around, okay? So we had charisma, right? We had the gift of gab. You know, we were decent communicators, but none of those things are definitions or descriptions of sales. Sales is not charisma. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you got character and charisma don't mean you know sales. Just because you can communicate. This is a lesson I had to learn. So I'm teaching you what I had to learn myself. Okay, just because you can communicate, you can talk, because remember, I'm getting into entrepreneurship, but at the time, 20 years ago, I'm a preacher too. So I was preaching. You know, I was standing behind pulpits every week, preaching to people, putting sermons together, making my points and giving people these dissertations about life and relationships and God and all this stuff. So I can articulate and communicate with charisma and with personality and with flair and with an amazing attitude. But none of that, I had to learn this. None of that defined or described professional sales. So let me give you a definition, or my definition of what sales describe. Okay, sales describe, and this is kind of like I'm giving you a cheat sheet for what we're going to be talking about in depth this upcoming Saturday. The exchanges, and I'm not going to get any further than this definition. I'm going to show you a little bit about how this works, okay? And transactions that lead to a close. So that's the definition I'm giving you today for sales. If you want to know what are sales, what are those? If you want to know what sales are, what are sales? Or what is sales? You can pronounce it how you want to pronounce it. Hey, it is what it is. What are sales? What is sales? You pronounce it the way you want to pronounce it, okay? Sales, professional sales for all of you that are entrepreneurs and business owners, okay? You have to be in sales. You have to get familiar with sales. You have to learn the basics of selling. And in order to learn the basics of selling, you need to know what sales is, or what sales are, however you want to pronounce it. Sales describe the exchanges and transactions that lead to a close. So now remember, all last week and the week before, I was talking about marketing, right? I was talking about marketing because when you market your business, what you're doing is you're going into the marketplace, you coming on social media, YouTube, you email, you having events, you're doing all these different things that bring value to people. So your marketing, as opposed to sales, is you participating or engaging in business activities that bring value to people. So that's the marketing side, all right? You're giving people how-tos. You're giving people information. You're assisting people. You're supporting people. You're helping them get better in whatever it is that you know you can help them get better in, whether it's health, money, business, fashion, food, whatever it is. Your marketing is bringing value to people, all right? So if you're marketing and bringing value to people consistently, at some point, what's going to happen? Somebody's going to respond to you. Somebody's going to raise their hand and say, hey, tell me more. Somebody's going to walk into your establishment. Somebody's going to call you to set an appointment. Somebody's going to click the link of your landing page and fill out the information form. If you market enough, if you bring enough value, at some point, somebody is going to respond and say, sounds good to me. I want to find out some more, or I want to use you, or I trust you, whatever that case is. Once somebody responds and once you start conversing, now you go from marketing to what? You go from marketing to sales, because now you are engaging in exchanges and or transactions. But what solidifies the sale is that your exchanges and transactions are designed to lead someone to a close. So if I know Amazon sells certain products and I'm looking for a certain product to buy, and I go to the Amazon page, well, Amazon at some point had to market themselves enough for me to think about them when I thought about buying something for my office or buying something for my house. Okay, so they did their marketing. They brought enough value to the marketplace. They created enough trust. They built a brand so that when I think about buying something, I go to Amazon. I'm just giving you an example. When I go to the Amazon website, the sales process begins. They have their website, their whole ecosystem set up in a way so that once we start engaging, which it probably started before I got to the site, but definitely once I get to the site, these exchanges and transactions are designed to lead me to the close, to go to my shopping cart, to click pay, to check out, for them to process my payment, and for them to send me an email confirmation. Well, it's the same way, whether it's a website or whether it's you selling a product or having a service. If you market the right way and bring enough value in your marketing, at some point, I'm the end consumer. I'm the potential client. I'm going to lift up my hand and say, I want to know more about that business. All right. I want to do business with you. At some point, I will do that. Now, here's the thing. Once I do that and the sales process begins, now these exchanges and transactions have to be set up in a way that they lead that potential customer or client to a close. This is not just like some idea, ladies and gentlemen. This is a skill set that you have to learn. And even if you feel like, well, I'm not a salesperson, you can't be like that and be an entrepreneur. You just can't. And if you think you're going to find people to do all this stuff for you, like, it just don't work like that for almost every other business owner. So you might find a few people every once in a while who you come across who didn't have to do none of this. They didn't have to learn about marketing. They didn't have to learn about selling. They didn't have to familiarize themselves with the basics of selling. They don't know anything about anything. And they just somehow magically built this successful business. And while they're on the beach, clicking buttons, everybody else is running their thing. Hey, that can happen. All right. There are exceptions to the rule. There's always an exception to the rule. But let me tell you something. For 99.9% of entrepreneurs and business owners who have an idea that they turn into a product or a service that they want people to buy, for 99.9% of us, we've got to learn the basics of selling. So there are a lot of things that you have to learn, but selling has to be a priority. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how many entrepreneurs I talk to and I work with on a day-to-day basis who know nothing about the basics of selling because they don't even understand sales. They don't even understand sales. So I'm giving you a clear working definition of what sales is and what does sales describe. It describes the exchanges and transactions that lead to a close. This is why I put so much emphasis on you having a professional sales process, all right? Because if this is going to work, you're going to need a sales process. So what that means is if you are going out to the marketplace and you're marketing, and in return, your marketing creates enough attention that somebody out here starts coming inside of your website, your landing page, your physical store, your virtual store, your school, whatever it is, your email, they respond, your text, your DM, whatever it is. Once people start coming into your ecosystem, okay, from your marketing, there needs to be, right here, a sales process that walks that person to a close. That's what you have to learn. That's what you have to become as good as you possibly can at. And that's what you have to continue to rinse and repeat every day. Not a day goes by that my team and I don't study and train and role play for this, for sales. Not a day goes by. Not a day goes by. And I was just telling this to my my team this morning when we were studying and training. I was telling them that they are employees working for a company. And they study, they train, and they role play more than people who own whole businesses. Now, something is wrong with that, isn't it? If you got people who work for a company, who are employees, who are not business owners, who ain't running their own business, and they are studying and training and role playing on sales more than people who wake up every day with their own businesses, they own boss, they the CEO, they got their own products and services, something is wrong. So if I talk to you as an entrepreneur and you own a business, and if I ask you, do you study and train and role play every day for sales? And you say no, it's already telling me how your money is looking for your business. And even if you're making money, you're probably not making as much money as you could if you understood the basics of selling and you took the principles of sales, exchanges and transactions that lead to a close, and you put them to practice through a professional sales process. So listen, I want to remind all of you, if you've been watching me for the past couple weeks, I'm talking about sales and marketing like I have all this week again, because this Saturday I'm hosting a sales and marketing workshop. So I'm supposed to talk about it, right? And I'm showing you these different pieces of information. I'm sharing with you these different principles because if you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, I want you to heighten your awareness and really elevate your understanding on sales and the act or the art of selling. It's something that you can learn. It's a skill set that you can learn. As I told you, I've always had charisma. I've always been a good communicator. I've always had a great personality and a great attitude when it comes to business and people. I've always done well with that. But I had to reach a certain point in my professional endeavors as an entrepreneur. I had to reach a certain point to where I accepted the fact that I didn't know enough about the professional side of sales, which was affecting my selling. Okay? So when I looked at my selling, I knew it was a result of what I didn't know and what I was unskilled at regarding sales. So just because I had a good attitude, just because I had charisma, just because I could talk and communicate and connect with people easily, that didn't mean that I was making more sales. As a matter of fact, it hurt me more than it helped me because I never really had a sales process put in place so that I could stay focused on this, leading people to a close. And if you don't understand this, it's going to show up on how you build your landing page. It's going to show up on how you put your emails together. It's going to show up on how you give presentations. It's going to show up if you have a service that you provide. It's going to show up in how you give people quotes, how you service people. Like sales shows up in everything. Your marketing is impacted by your understanding of sales. Okay? So if you are watching me and you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, the truth is, if you are a W-2 employee looking to make more money, maybe you can move into a different department. Maybe it's a commission-based opportunity available for you. If you're a network marketer and you're an independent contractor and you work those types of side hustles, learning how to sell can literally like accelerate your increase of and increase your revenue and your income if you learn how to sell. So if you are an entrepreneur, 1099 contractor, small business owner, and you do not have a professional sales process in place, that means you don't have a step-by-step way of leading people to a close. If you had a chance to talk with them, if you had an opportunity to set up an appointment with them, if you building an online store, but you want to make sure that your store is configured in a way that it represents your sales process. If you don't have that, you got to have it. There's no exception to the rule. And you need to listen to me and believe me when I say it. You got to have that. You cannot be in business without a professional sales process. That means you need a step-by-step way of walking people to a close. You need a script. You should have some value proposition or an elevator pitch. Of course, you need products and services. But again, even if you don't own products and services, you can use other people's products and services, but you can't use or own them and make money from them if you do not have a professional sales process. So if we describe sales as the exchanges and transactions that lead to a close, okay, how do we make these exchanges? How do we make these transactions to lead people to a close? How you do it is through this thing called a sales process. So that when you market your business and people from the world starts responding to your marketing about your business, they are able to come into a ecosystem, a world that you've set up certain steps to walk them through to a close. It's kind of like if you invite people to your house and you have multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, and you have this big event center in the back of your house that you got all this food and everybody's hanging out, right? And you want people to get to that place in the back of your house. Well, guess what? Once people get to the house, that's one job, just to get people to show up. But once they show up, you have to have signs or people to walk them through each hallway, each door, each threshold, each room, to lead them to where you want them to end up so that they can enjoy the benefits of what you have invited them to. This is sales, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner and you ain't got that, you're losing. You are failing miserably. And I know how it feels because there was a time as an entrepreneur, and I keep saying entrepreneur as opposed to business owner, because it wasn't until I really became a student of sales and started learning and being mentored and getting trained and role playing with this thing called sales. It wasn't until I did that when I started developing myself as a real legitimate business owner. Up until that point, I was an entrepreneur just scrapping and hustling every day because I wasn't a professional. I wasn't a professional business owner because I wasn't a professional salesperson. And I'm not even going to claim to be like this professional. I feel like I'm still a student. I feel like I'm still an amateur compared to some of the people that I be around. Man, I be around some cold-blooded killers when it comes to sales. So I don't claim to be, a master. I'm a student. But I'm willing to show up every day. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to train, study, role play, do my due diligence, build the muscle, get better at it so that I can provide a better professional service to the clients and to the people that I work with, okay? So if you're not there and you need to put a script together, you need a sales process to use, if you need someone to help you craft your value proposition and work on putting it together so that you can work it through your business for your products and services, I want you to join me this Saturday. All right? I'm hosting a one-day workshop. I want you to join me for the workshop. And not only do I want you to join me for the workshop, but I want to give you access to my sales course and my marketing course. So I teach a lot of the basics when it comes to sales and basics when it comes to marketing, because most people, they want the sophisticated stuff about sales and marketing and they don't know the basics. But I know when you understand the basics of marketing and the basics of selling, it makes it easier for you to start building on that foundation more sophisticated aspects of these principles, okay? So I want to invite you to join me this Saturday, July 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you can't join me in person, you can join me virtually, okay? You could just click the link, log into your dashboard, and join me virtually. So I want to give you a VIP ticket to my upcoming sales and marketing workshop this Saturday. All right. We'll also have a replay available. So if you miss some of it, you can always come back and rewatch the replay. We're going to have a workbook available for you. And I want to give you access for 1 year to these two courses, my sales course and my marketing course, which includes a script. Because again, as an entrepreneur, you got to have a script. You got to have a sales process. And you have to polish that thing up and work it and tweak it and utilize it daily until you get good enough that you start seeing results from it. And I promise you, if you do not have a professional sales script and a sales process together, and if you don't have like a marketing strategy with campaigns that are tied to that sales process, you're probably losing, oh my God, like thousands of dollars every month. And if you're not making any money, it's infinite in the return you're going to get just to have these two things in place, to have a sales process, to have a marketing strategy and campaigns that connect to your sales process, because that's what's going to allow you to do what I just drew. It's a horrible draw, But this is what I was showing you. Let me try to see if I could do it again. If you market your business, if you're marketing your business, right? If this is you marketing your business, and at some point, people out here, you're marketing to them on social media, and you have different strategies, different campaigns that you put together to market to people. At some point, these people are going to respond. Somebody is going to respond if your marketing is correct, if you are giving people in the marketplace value. Once these people start responding to you, now your sales process is going to be important. Otherwise, guess what? Nobody is going to buy the products or the service you're selling, or enough people don't go through this sales process to buy. And at some point, you won't be in business. It's just as simple as that. All right. So if you're interested, I shouldn't even say interested. I'm being nice using the word if you're interested. No. And if you're interested, if you ain't making enough money in your business because you do not understand the basics of selling, you do not have a sales process, you don't have a sales script, you ain't got a sales team, you don't know how to tie your marketing into your sales, you don't even know what a value prop is or an elevator pitch is. If you ain't got none of this or all of it in place, guess what? There should be no question in your mind to join me this Saturday for my sales and marketing workshop. Period. If you ain't got that, I don't want to hear nothing else from you but text VIP to 678-276-8253. All right? So we'll take one day this Saturday. You could join me. First half of the day, we're going to talk about marketing. Second half, we'll talk about sales. And I'm going to show you grassroots level strategies. Like, I'm not giving you all these pie in the sky things that might not even work. I'm not a hypothetical person. Okay? I don't live my life on hypotheticals and ideals and theories and words that are full of philosophies. I don't live like that. I want practical strategies that I can use and put into execution right here, right now, point blank period. And so my teaching is like that. How I teach my students, how I work with my clients as a coach and a consultant, it's all based on real life strategies that we can put in place, things that work, okay? So this is the one-day workshop, and I'm going to give you 2 courses. So if you call today or text VIP to this number today, we can get you onboarded so that you can start going through these 2 courses. It's just going to make it easier for you when you show up Saturday because you're going to already have an idea of what type of marketing we're talking about and what type of selling we're talking about. And we can make sure that you have a script put in place. I give you a sample script in here. You got to have this stuff. I can't keep stressing it because I'm going to keep stressing it if I keep stressing it. So let me stop stressing it. Text VIP to 678-276-8253. We're offering this for $97. So for $97, you get a one-day workshop on sales and marketing. You learn a lot of strategies that you can put in place and implement immediately. You get 2 courses for a year. You have access to these 2 courses. You get a sample script for $97. I mean, if you think you can go find all that for $97 somewhere else, then so be it. But I don't know if you can. And if you don't have it by now and it's 2023, then what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for like God to open up the heavens and drop down a sales bag for you or some marketing, patent? What are you waiting on? At some point, you got to get going. You got to figure it out now and build something. That's why today I'm talking about the basics of selling. So if you want to take me up on the offer, text VIP to 678-276-8253. I appreciate y'all for joining the show. Again, we're 5 days away from our sales and marketing workshop. I'm super excited because it gives me a whole day to work with you on your marketing and on your sales. two of which are like the lifelines of your business. So let me hear from you today. All right, let me know what your big takeaway was. If you learned something about sales, even if it's just the definition of sales and how sales work. Now, there are so many other things that I'm going to be talking about Saturday that I didn't have a chance to talk about today, but I'll take pieces of information this week on sales and I'll share as much as I can with you so that by Saturday, we'll be ripe and ready to just deep dive. So if you've ever joined me for any of my one-day workshops, you know I literally go all day. Out 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., I will literally go all day if I had to, and still be ready to go after the one-day event is over. So I look forward to hearing from y'all. Thank you for joining the show. We'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, right here